So now that we have all Ninjago Dragons Rising sets, Season 1 and Season 2 have all been revealed visually, we can now go ahead and rank and quantify anything under the Dragons Rising sphere. Daniel A was here and he's thinking to himself, Methuselah, how are we going to compare Dragons Rising Season 1 versus Dragons Rising Season 2 when Season 2 got 3 waves and Season 1 only got 1 wave?
Yeah, it was. It seems like the odds are going to be a little more favored in one direction, so I'm curious to see whether or not that is actually going to be true.
What we did as a team is found the most comparable sets to each other from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 1 and Season 2. Because yes, there is 3 times the sets basically for Season 2. So we have different categories such as Dojo type build, Media Mech type build, the Big Mech, Dragons of each wave, Small Creature builds of each wave. I don't even know what you would call this category. Big Giant, biggest of the set range, wheeled vehicle, and 4+ sets. So we're just going to go through each and every one, and we're going to give points either to Season 1 or Season 2 of Ninjago Dragons Rising.
Because let's be honest, now the Dragons Rising is 2 seasons in. We've got so many crazy sets. They're all really cool, but which one of these potentially weighs the other out?
Well, regardless, let's start with the kind of Dojo, similar price point type build. A lot of these sets we put together because they're kind of in a similar price bracket and they're similar style of set compared to each other. So what do we have here?
Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores versus the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo. This is already starting out in a very heated match.
I think I already know which one you like better, because I was here when Daniel Lewa was ranting about how great, he just kept ranting and ranting about how amazing the Wolf Mask Dojo was. So I'm assuming that your point goes there. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. That is, I think, the superior set out of these two. You have a lot more to do. You have a really good figure variety, and just visually, it's a little more interesting. That isn't to say that the other one isn't nice, because it is really nice and elegant, but it's definitely a little more simple, whereas the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo is just really doing something cool.
I will say, though, that the core temple looks a little bit more complete. Am I wrong? Like, the one thing about the Shadow Dojo is these gaps and holes that make it look even more facade than it already is, because the temple of the core isn't sealed off in the back either, but it still looks a lot more like a complete building, right?
And part of this goes to how important this is in the show. In Dragons Rising Season 2, basically the whole season kind of revolves around the Shadow Dojo and the Blood Moon. That just gives even more edge. So even though it does have that gappiness, it is a facade, it definitely has a lot more epic property.
Okay, well, are we taking the show into account? Because here we go with this TV show nonsense.
But sometimes it's hard not to, because it plays such a big role in influencing whether or not you like something. Like, would the Millennium Falcon be as revered of a ship as it is if it wasn't for A New Hope, Return of the Jedi?
Okay.
Probably not.
I get it. I mean, yeah, I look at it as just Lego sets, but you're right. The show does have some significance here. I'll agree with Daniel Lewa. Point goes to Shadow Mask Dojo. Boom. 1 point. We have 1 on the board for Season 2 of Dragons Rising. These categories are in no particular order, so let's just jump into the medium-sized mechs here. We have Sora's Transforming Mech Bike Racer versus Kai's Ninja Climbing Mech. This is a tough category. I mean, these are both in a sort of similar price bracket. If you were to get one of these, Daniel Lewa, today, which one would you rather build?
This is an easy one for me. I would say the Sora's Transforming Mech Bike Racer. Both of these sets are doing something new and different, a kind of a unique spin on the Ninjago mech formula. On the one hand, you have the multiple arms with the climbing capability and everything, the string hooks that you can actually hold up the whole mech with. And on the other hand, we have a mech that transforms into basically a motorbike. And I think that just is a little cooler. Also, Sora's color scheme is phenomenal. Kai is just, it's red. You know what you're getting with the Kai vehicle, but Sora's vehicle looks really clean that way, so I'll give it to Sora.
And I forgot to mention, we aren't really taking minifigures into account for this ranking. We're doing a video here shortly comparing the Season 1 and 2 minifigures. Going off the sets alone, I think I got to agree with Daniel Lewa here, but it's hard because these two are both do something unique. You can't just say, oh, Sora's mech bike wins because it does something unique, because Kai's Ninja Climbing Mech is providing a whole new play feature as well, with the string hooks and everything. Just going off color scheme alone, like Sora's Mech Bike Racer kind of takes the cake. Like this is a brand new sort of silhouette for Ninjago. So that would mean that we have 1 point for Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 1. 1-1 so far. Let's go to the next category, which is actually big mechs. These are both the biggest mechs of Season 1 and Season 2.
Lloyd and Aaron's Ninja Team mechs versus Cole's Titan Dragon mech. These are crazy mechs. And again, in very different ways. Lloyd's mech has the whole dual buddy system compatibility, which is kind of fun. And it makes it so you can have some integrated playability with multiple characters and mechs together. But Cole's Dragon mech, as we've said previously, is just the cleanest mech ever. It's so beautiful. It's so articulated. It's hard for any mech, no matter the theme, to even come close to that, in my opinion.
It's just hard because I feel like Lloyd and Aaron's team mech just blows all, like every mech out of the water beneath it. Like I feel like Ninjago really is the place to go when you're wanting Lego mechs. Like, Dreams of Monkey Kid has their cool things, but like looking at these two, this sort of consistency at this price range is kind of insanity because Lloyd and Aaron's team mech is such an amazing build, super unique silhouette, but yeah, it kind of has to go to Cole's mech, which may just be the freaking set of the year, honestly. So what can we do there?
Wow.
Maybe not the set of the year, maybe the mech of the year, that's for sure. So another point for Dragons Rising Season 2. It's up 2-1, and it's also not fair because look at all these mechs. These are all from Season 2 as well. All the little mechs. It has way more mechs than Season 1 had. These ones, I don't want to say are negligible, especially the top two, Cole's mech and Sora's mech, have really unique silhouettes and cool color schemes. So basically these don't have anything to compare against with Dragons Rising Season 1, but here they are. Small buildable creatures. These two are pretty comparable, right? The Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound versus Young Dragon Ryu. Oh man, this one is also kind of tough. And you know, I bet Daniel Lee was going to tell us right now that Ryu has a lot more significance to the show and all that. Probably divert to him for that. But the Imperium dog does have some good aspects to it. Like this is an army building you could do, and the Imperium wave is just so cool. Their color scheme and their vibe is just so dope.
I've always thought of the Hound in this case as very similar to like a Fenris Wolf from Lego Vikings. It has a very kind of brutal, brawny, scrappy vibe, which is pretty unique, especially for something like Ninjago. The skinniest possible torso imaginable. It's really cool. Ryu is nice. It's a clean build. It looks very good. Of course, it's like a main character. It is the Dragon Rising, essentially. But I'm going to have to give this to the Hound just because something about Ryu, I think it's the head. Not having the movable jaw and having just one solid molded piece really hurts it. And I think the Hound is just kind of a better buildable creature overall.
Wow, this is getting controversial, guys. Guys, comment hashtag baby Ryu in the comments because we are putting him straight in the trash. Because I'm actually I was gonna divert to Daniel Lewa. I could see it go either way. But this Imperium dog, it's a nice cheap pickup that you can army build. I love the flag. I do like a lot of things about it. So we'll just go ahead and give it to that, I guess. It's our subjective opinion. Another point for Season 1. Let's get a little controversial with it. Boom. Big dragons. Oh my gosh. No, the dragons are surely rising at this point. Who do we have on the Season 1 side of things?
Heatwave transforming lava dragon and the elemental dragon versus the Empress mech.
On Season 2 side, we have the Source Dragon of Motion and Eagle the Master Dragon.
I mean, you would hope that if the whole show is called Dragons Rising, that they would do the dragons right. And even looking at this slide, you could say they are doing dragons right. Basically, all four of these are really good. I say basically because I think only 3 out of the 4 are good.
What? Which one's bad?
I really don't like Heatwave, the transforming dragon. I think it's the color scheme. It just looks very muted and dull.
Okay, so there are 2 points to give in this category for big dragons. So we gotta go head to head. Biggest dragon of Season 1 is the elemental dragon, Jay's. Biggest dragon of Season 2 is the Source Dragon of Motion. Which one would you give it to, Daniel Lewa?
Oh gosh, again, this is extremely difficult. I think the Source Dragon is a cooler build. It's more epic. The shaping on the horns and the jaw, really cool. But I like the color scheme of the Elemental Dragon better. I think it pops a little more. But I'm still going to have to give it to the Source Dragon of Motion. It's just so epic seeing a Source Dragon in the flesh and the plastic.
I 100% agree with you. It's hard. Those two are both amazing. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to give it to this Source Dragon of Motion, which will do. It just feels bad doing something like that when the other set is so good. Just because this one's better doesn't mean that one's bad, is what I'm trying to say. But, so another point for Dragons Rising Season 2. What about Heatwave transforming Lava Dragon versus Egalt the Master Dragon?
Egalt is a great character in the show, and I think it definitely improved how I like the set. Because when this first came out, I'm like, what? Color scheme is kind of bland. The show did sway me on this one. I think Egalt is pretty cool, and even just looking at the sets alone, I would still pick Egalt over Heatwave.
I just hate how he's wearing a little hat. Like, get the hat off this little dragon. Like, honestly, I'm sick of, I mean, like, me, if I was to own one of these, I'd personally probably prefer the Heatwave Lava transforming dragon. It's more unique of a dragon. It has no wings. It just has little blade wings, if you want to count those. Has the cool feature, switching heads. But we go ahead and give it to Egalt. He has more personality, more significance. That's totally fine. Plus, they have young baby Ryu. Salt on the wound. What is our next category here?
So this is kind of like the more advanced build. These are very similar price points. Pretty good figure selection. On the left, we have Destiny's Bounty, Race Against Time. On the right, we have the Dragonstone Shrine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what Ninjago fans I'm offending by anything that I'm saying, but I got to give it to the Race Against Time Destiny's Bounty. I'm sorry. I feel like that would just be much more fun to build rather than building rocks. I get this more elegant adult display.
You know what's crazy is I am 100% on the same page with you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I agree. I think I really like what they were going for with the Dragonstone Shrine. Like, oh, cool desk display piece for all you older Ninjago fans. Very elegant and detailed. But it feels like you don't get a lot for the price. And in comparison to Destiny's Bounty, you know, we've had a lot of really good Destiny's Bounty. I think the color scheme on it is actually pretty nice. The curvature is really clean. And you get a lot of stuff going on. You have the dragon. You have all the ninja. Well, you have a lot of the ninja. You have different transforming functions with the sails. Just way more play features, you know. And it's still displayable because it's a Destiny's Bounty.
Maybe it's unfair that we're comparing these two. They're not one's a flying bow, one's a natural build. So maybe it's unfair, but hey, for the rules that we created, that's the winner. So we actually have another winner in season 1. Let's go to the wheeled vehicle category. There are 2 wheeled vehicles for season 2 of major significance: the Ninja Team combo vehicle as well as the Aaron's Ninja Off-Road Buggy car. But we only have one significant wheeled vehicle for season 1, and that would be
Zane's Dragon Power Spin Jitsu Race Car. Man, the SEO is not doing any of these cars any favors. Those are terrible names.
So we actually have 2 points to give. We're going to do 1v1 and then 1v1. So between, I'm just going to say, Zane's Ice Car and the team combo vehicle, how are we feeling?
I love tanks. I've always loved Lego tanks with treads. So cool. And the combo vehicles are also really cool. But this is not one of the better combo vehicles, and it's not doing anything really new, whereas Spinjitzu Dragon Power Zane car can actually do Spinjitzu as a car. That's so novel and cool and fun. So, like, this is an easy win for the Zane's car, I think.
I mean, the piece counts aren't hugely different. Zane's car is 300 pieces. The team vehicle's more 500 pieces. There's a 200-piece difference. Even then, so I feel like you're getting a better value with Zane's car. As Daniel Lewis said, you can drift in Spinjitzu, but I love these 2 side builds, which is crazy for me to say, of these floating antagonists. We're not really taking minifigures into account, but this all gold Imperium guard is absolutely insane. But just even as a kid with your $35, I feel like you're getting a lot within this one set. So W Dragons Rising Season 1. Let's go ahead and give it another point. But what about Aaron's Off-Road Buggy? How would that go up against the champ?
That is interesting because Aaron's Off-Road Buggy is still more expensive at $50 versus $35, but it has less pieces. The buggy has less pieces than the car, and it's $15 more. So sure, you're getting the big tires, but you know, the amount of figures is the same. You get a baby Ryu in the buggy, but I don't love that value, and doesn't really offer a lot in terms of playability besides just being able to hang it from the hooks.
As an off-road vehicle, it is cool for sure, but yeah, I feel like just value-wise, probably still got to go with the car. Feels a little unfair giving double points, so we'll just say Season 1 wins in the wheeled vehicle category. specifically for this one car, so we still just give it the 1 point. For the cherry on top, the biggest build for each Dragon's Rising season. Ninjago City Markets versus Tournament Temple City, okay? Maybe it's unfair comparing these two. I don't know. What is the Markets? Like the biggest Ninjago set ever made? I feel like I definitely got to divert to Daniel Lewa on this one because these are two sets that he has quite a bit of interest in.
Yeah, it's true. I love the big Ninjago sets. Specifically, Ninjago City Gardens, one of my favorites of all time. The build is incredible. Ninjago City Markets has a lot of the same things as the Gardens. It doesn't quite live up to that lofty bar that was set by the Gardens. So much effort was just put into making the little cable car work. And there's so much just gray base plate, and all of the cool stuff is all squished off to the side. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Tournament Temple City, on the other hand, is very refined. It's an immaculate temple build, but out of the two, if I had to buy one of these, I would have to get... It's tough because on the one hand, I want to be able to continue my Ninjago City display and get the markets because I have that cohesion, whereas the temple sits kind of on its own, but the temple is just more beautiful all around, so I will get the temple in this case.
I was stressing out during that if you were about to go with the markets. There's something about these Ninjago City Markets, I guess value-wise, you're going to get a lot of zany minifigures, you're going to get a lot of zany pieces, you're going to get a DLC to your Ninjago City Gardens, but without the Ninjago City Gardens, it doesn't have feet to stand by itself, it doesn't have the foundation for that, so I'm always been a little bit of a hater on that one. And I would 1000% go with the Tournament Temple City. Even get a dragon, a nougat dragon, which is very cool. Lord Roz. Glad we agree on that one. Point for Tournament Temple City. So we actually have 4 points for Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 1 and now 5 points for Season 2 after the Tournament Temple City. There is one bonus category that could make this either a tiebreaker or a sweep. And it has to be done. The 4+ sets. We have 2 4+ sets for Season 1 and 2 4+ sets for Season 2. 1 point to give here, okay? We're comparing both sets versus both sets. So we do have to take a lot into account. It is interesting. 2 of them both have 2 vehicles and 2 of them both have a dragon.
You honestly get quite a lot for the 4+ sets. The prices are still really rough for the piece count. As far as the top row with the vehicles, you have more variety with the vehicles in Aaron's battle mech, but you have 2 cars that you can race and play with together in the other one. So
big mustard molded pieces are rough. I mean, I know you don't like the bright red for Kai, but that is Kai. It's really this secondary vehicle of the wolf mask. What, like a flying drone or I don't know. I feel like as a set in whole, is that Lord Roz?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lord Roz's trike versus Kai's 4-wheeler. I definitely think this is one of the better sets of the 4 on the top left because the 2 vehicles look really good. So then the problem is which 4+ dragon is better than the other one. I feel like it kind of goes to the source battle in the bottom right here because that dragon has the 4 wings. They actually both have 4 wings and a tail, which is super interesting. The vehicle on Jay's, I think, is a lot cooler, having a Imperium little hover car versus a tiny cannon and little imprisonment side build.
You do get 4 figs in the source dragon battle versus the 3 plus Ryu, which is a draw. But I agree, I think the dragon looks a little nicer in the source dragon battle, and I would have to give it to that.
So it's literally just split, sorry we took so much time analyzing the 4+ sets, but we really had to do it. But it looks like it's still even, because this is an even category. So Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2 would win with a little bit of an edge. Final score, 4-5. Dang it, all of us Season 1 fans are like, no. But it is interesting, though, because I literally thought that Season 2 would just completely sweep the whole thing, because sometimes newer is better. New pieces, brand new molds, new building techniques, but it was actually still surprisingly close.
Like Dragons Rising in general is Ninjago at the peak of its game. Like it's been going on for 12 years at this point, 13 years, and it's like still going hard as ever. I don't know how they're going to top the seasons 3, 4, 5, 20, but I'm excited to see them. We're going to be along for the ride.
We're definitely going to be along for the ride, and we're definitely going to be taking our subscribers with us on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Or yes, we will be ranking every Lego color currently in production. It's a hard project. Trying to get it together. We're trying to rank these Lego colors, but if you would like to subscribe to support us to get to that milestone, that'd be much appreciated. Also, if you really want, click the join button on desktop and become a member on the Soccer Squadron. You can get a shout out just like this one. Oliver J, the Ginger Lender, I'm Lidme, and Dr. Dan PhD, as well as MC Goat, the literal goat. All get shout outs every single episode. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. And we want to know what your favorite Ninjago Dragons Rising sets are, what you'd like to see in the future, anything from the show that you would like to see implemented into a Lego set. And stay tuned for when we compare all the Ninjago Dragons Rising minifigures from both seasons.
If you made it this far in the video, comment Dragonite, and we'll know you're a real one.